are saying goodbye to Paige Squires after her year as our representative from the high school. And we have a fun little gift for you. Um, these little flowers, but we also have a little gift that we'd love to share with you as well. And you have brought with you your successor, and that is Ava Roof, correct? Hi, Ava. We're very excited to have you. Sorry.
I think I'll talk after your presentation. Before, we'd like to take, at the very end, give you the gifts and take a quick picture with the board and just a thank you. But I'm sure you have a few things you want to share with us tonight.
I sure do. Yeah. Okay. Um, just jumping right in, like always with academics. As you all know, with May, that means that our trimester 3 is getting ready to come to a close. The senior, that's really hitting hard. Our last day is June 3rd. Graduation's going to be on June 5th. Senior awards night is right before that on June 1st, which means that seniors are just able to get recognized, receive their cords, show what scholarships they've earned. It's just a really great opportunity to see all the hard work that they've done throughout the last 4 years. That also means that finals are coming up. For those who aren't seniors, the last day of school is going to be on June 9th. Both this week and last week here at the district office, there's also been a lot of AP tests, which means students have been stressing a little bit, but that's okay because all of their hard work is really culminating in these couple weeks. Shifting down into arts, Mean Girls, our most recent musical, had their performances wrap up. Up next, Drama 4 is presenting Into the Woods Junior, which is going to be here at the end of May. You can get tickets per usual at bowmantheater.com or at the door. This is the last show of the year. Next year's performances have been announced with an overall theme of mystery. We have Mixolydian's tryouts also beginning today and continuing tomorrow and Wednesday. 5 of our band members placed at the OMEA solo competition and are now headed off to state, with Jackson Seagull placing first in the state competition with the Euphonium. With activities, our final blood drive of the year was last Tuesday. We gathered 79 pints of blood, which was surpassing our goal, which was 70 pints this time around. With that, we had our student council elections finishing up. And like you guys were introduced to, I have with me our future ASB president, Ava Roof. We have a full council coming up. It's going to be really exciting next year. Lots of big things coming up. We finished up seniors decision week, in which everybody was celebrated for their future plans. Had a great time with that. We also have prom this Saturday, with the assembly being on Friday, in which we present our prom court. The theme is Under the Waves, not Under the Sea. I always get it a little mixed up. The yearbook was completed recently and is currently being published so that we can get those distributed to everybody. We also have Springfest on May 29th, which features many of our clubs and organizations within Sherwood High School. They're presenting their booths in which they're able to fundraise money for the upcoming school year. It's also featuring different food trucks from the community, as well as different many inflatable games that are fun to partake in. I really recommend going. Hopefully the weather's nice this year like it was last year. We also had our first, for athletics now, we had our first softball versus baseball game this past weekend. Really exciting. It was a fun time. Baseball did end up winning. We also are getting ready to wrap up league play for just about everybody. We are moving on to districts and hopefully state with many of those sports. Boys lacrosse is officially league champs. Softball and baseball are still continuing their league play, but both are also looking good to be league champions. Softball is actually seated second in state currently. They're looking for a second title. Boys volleyball as well is top 5 in the state. Again, looking great to be league champions. We also have dance tryouts at the end of May, as well as cheer tryouts, working on finding a date for those. And here with us today, we have some of the 5th grade ambassadors from all of our different elementary schools. So I'd love if they could come up and speak now.
Is this on? Oh, it is. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Woofter, and I'm the proud principal of Archer Glen Elementary. And tonight, we're really excited to showcase some of our Eagle ambassadors that have been serving as student leaders over the course of the school year. And they know, because I've referred to them several times this year as the guinea pig group. We decided to revamp our whole process this year as to how students became Eagle ambassadors and had a little bit more of a reflective application process where students really considered their own leadership qualities and where they'd like to see themselves growing over the course of the year. And then they also got to look at their individual strengths or strengths that they wanted to work on and let us know if they were interested in one of 3 committees. So we had 3 committees, the communication committee, the leadership committee, and the student support committee. And so I'm here with 2 of my most valuable members of my communication committee, and they're going to share a little bit about their experience. So I'm proud to introduce Ellie Smith and Davin Leith. Ellie, you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. I'm Ellie Smith, and I'm an Eagle Ambassador at Archer Glen. Let's start at the beginning. I found the application process very efficient, and I thought it was really neat that you could rank your areas of interest. One of my favorite things about being an Eagle Ambassador is how the younger students look up to you. It makes me feel like a very important part of our community, especially when I'm working in our school's skills center. I bring one of the students from his car to the classroom every morning. I just think it's such a cool opportunity to be a part of school leadership.
And my name is Davin Leith from Archer Glen, Eagle Ambassador. I like being Eagle Ambassador because you feel like being your leader. You help the younger kids look up to you and be able to be an Eagle Ambassador when they're in 5th grade.
I'm Natasha Ettinger. I am the principal at Middleton, and we call our ambassadors Mustang managers because we had to stick with the M. And we have 2 Mustang managers here to talk about it tonight, Grace and Tyler. First up is Grace.
I'm Grace Michael. For Middleton Mustangs, we have 4 different jobs, 2 in the morning on Fridays, 2 in the afternoon all week. The 2 in the morning are morning announcements and tattoos. The announcements read off the birthdays and Golden Horseshoe winners. The Golden Horseshoe winners are tattoos of when certain kids get to eat at any table they want. The tattoos people put on them, and they're temporary. The 2 in the afternoon is when we have messages and bus helpers. The messages are when every day we get notes from every class and deliver them. The bus helpers is where we have the K through 2nd kids get onto the bus. Next up is Tyler explaining why we were chosen for Mustang Manager. The reason we were chosen to be Mustang Managers The reason we are chosen to be Mustang managers is because we are responsible, respectful, and always being positive role models for the younger kids. First, we are kind to students and teachers. We are kind and caring to our friends. We always include people in the games that we play. We help classmates and younger kids up when they are hurt or down. We are also always trying to fix problems. Lastly, we always make sure kids are safe and responsible on the playground and being kind to others.
Good evening. My name is Miranda Johnson. I am the principal at Ridges Elementary, and I am excited to introduce Darla and Cooper tonight, one of our fall and spring Ridges ambassadors, to share more with you about our school program.
Hi, my name is Darla.
And my name is Cooper.
And we are 5th grade ambassadors at Ridges Elementary. At Ridges, we divide our ambassador responsibilities into 2 groups, a fall ambassador group and a spring ambassador group. Each group has around 20 5th graders. Cooper participated in the fall, and I have been a spring ambassador.
To become an ambassador at Ridges, you have to fill out an application, participate in an interview, and become someone that has been safe, respectful, and responsible at our school. Our fall group was selected at the end of our 4th grade year, and our spring group was selected this past February.
As an ambassador at Ridges, we help with all kinds of things at our school. Some things we help with are morning arrival, handing out paw prints to students following school rules, weekly announcements, taking younger students to the bus, skits about our school expectations, and more.
My favorite part of being an ambassador this year was working with the little kids. I helped the 1st grade class get to the bus each day at the end of school, and I helped kids get to their classrooms during morning arrival. It was so fun to help everyone get where they needed to be.
My favorite part of being an ambassador this year has been doing the announcements. It was really fun because we got to explain all the things that were happening at school that week, and we got to answer questions that students in our school had for our ambassadors. I also really liked taking students to the bus after school. They were really cute.
Thank you so much for letting us share about our school. Do you have any questions?
I love the fifth grade ambassador program. My daughter was a part of that when she was at Archer Glen, and it's really fun to see their leadership qualities come out. I feel like there's a bush right here. It's really fun to see the qualities that come out when they're given the opportunity to have a servant leadership role in their school, from helping the little ones get to the bus or handing out, the little paw prints or whatever the task is. They do rise to the occasion, and it's really nice to see. So thank you very much for sharing this with us. We'd love to get a picture with you guys up here if you guys want to come back up.
Come on back up. We're gonna get, you're famous. You're gonna get pictures. Well, while you're coming up, can I just say thank you? I've had an opportunity to see you in action, and what I love is you are, come on up. What I love is your leaders, but you serve. And I just try to, I want to learn from you. Keep watching what you do. It's really been fun. And so thank you for coming tonight too. You all did an amazing job, by the way. It's not easy, and you did a great job. And so we're going to get a quick picture with our team up here with you. So we're going to come your way. All right. So as Chair Carson is getting flowers for Paige, I just want to say thank you to Paige. She has been an ambassador for the high school, but beyond that. And on behalf of our team, we just want to let you know how lucky Tulane is to be getting you. And what the flowers are the closest color and match to Tulane. So there you go. But I'm appreciative. If you heard her read off a few things that were going on at the high school, I swear she's involved in all of those things. And I don't know how she does it. And hopefully the next couple weeks are everything you've hoped for. And it will be so fun to give you a big high five at graduation. And so on behalf of our team at the district and on the board, we are just so appreciative of your energy and effort this year and your positivity. Paige, you have rocked it. So congratulations. Let's give it up for Paige.
All right, moving on to our superintendent update with Dr. Downs. I just love having the kids kick this off and start and be here. Just
my goodness, everything from the pledge to just the energy and I'm so thankful. I mean, the spring has a lot going on and these kids, make a lot of efforts. And by the way, it isn't just our high school kids who are busy. I talked to an elementary parent today and I'm like, oh my goodness, your spring is hopping. Sometimes we think it's when they get older, and I just was hopeful that they were able to enjoy it. I'm excited tonight to talk just about a couple quick things here. One, a huge highlight and a win. Molly Lee, our very own Molly Lee in our human resources department's a human resources specialist. She was named Oregon HR Specialist of the Year. So we can give up for Molly. It is an outstanding and well-deserved honor that was voted on by her peers and our peer nominated. And it absolutely reflects her exceptional work, leadership, and commitment to making us the best we can be. Our HR department is amazing, and Molly is a big part of that. She started with us in 2012. She's just a cornerstone for us. She provides expertise, high-level wisdom, great support and guidance, and she's a phenomenal collaborative leader for us. And I know Molly's not able to be with us here tonight, but I wanted to highlight and share with the board. That's a big honor. She was recognized in front of a large group, and that was not maybe exactly what she ordered. But we wanted to take a minute to say congratulations to Molly. And so congratulations, Molly. I also wanted to just highlight a couple of things. I had an opportunity to join the SHS Jazz band at the state festival on Friday. They were amazing. They ended up, it's a great performances, and the students were so proud, and the directors and all the adults that were there to support were so proud. And it was just fun to see them in action at the state competition. And it's that time of year. We have a lot of state-ish things happening for a lot of our spring activities, as Paige alluded to. I also want to just highlight, went to the Spring Performing Arts Assembly at SMS, and just for fun, here's who performed. It was just a small group. SMS Choir, SHS Percussion, SMS Percussion, Color Guard, and Dance Team. Like just a little assembly that they did. And that's an example of like our kids come down and there was great energy, and I was just appreciative of that. Lastly, very fun. It's been a beautiful spring. And then on Earth Day, I had a chance to join Hawksview on that day where it started raining quite a bit. Was perfect because what they did is our second graders were planting trees behind the district office in conjunction with the city of Sherwood, which we love their partnership, and another with companies as well. And the students and parent chaperones were able to plant trees out there. We'll be able to watch them grow. And the reason why the rain was helpful, not one kid did I hear have a comment about the rain. Maybe some of the adults, we were talking about it. It was a pretty rainy day, but it allowed them to be able to plant a little bit easier on that morning. And it was just awesome. So.
Thank you. We're going to move on to board reports. I didn't have a chance to get with you guys. Who's got one?
I'll just get a quick short report. So I could brag about all kinds of things, but I recently went on a field trip at the middle school, and it was to go fishing, which was awesome. That was great. And I could talk about how amazing that trip was. I had a great time. But I actually wanted to highlight something else that I noticed, because I noticed it's one of those initiatives that we've had this year. And sometimes I think we do these initiatives and we just never really follow up or see if it, I know it's happening. We don't always talk about it. And that's the cell phone thing. So I went into the middle school in the morning and I was helping out, getting ready for the supplies for the day. And it was, the normal beginning of school chaos. Kids were all over the place. I didn't see any phones. I didn't see them. They were away. I honestly, I was expecting to see them. I know that sounds bad, but I was expecting to see them walking around the hallways with their phones, but it was not there. I did not see them. The entire day on the field trip, they were told not to bring their phones. I didn't see one phone on the bus. I didn't see one phone out there on the lake. I didn't see one phone anytime, not one. I mean, I saw parents with phones. I didn't see kids with phones. The parents were doing this all the time, but the kids, I was really impressed. They were engaged. They were involved. They had a great time. I mean, just hanging outside, outdoors, it was beautiful weather, catching fish, talking to each other, and I didn't see a single phone. And that is a testament to I don't see anybody, I don't know, maybe it's middle school. Okay, there's some middle school here. Thank you. So yeah, this is a testament to you guys. I know that does not happen without a lot of work. As a former teacher, we've been through these cell phone policies over a decade ago that never happened successfully. I think that was where my cynicism was. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, but it looks like it did. It looks like it is. So I was impressed. I was very impressed by that, and I'm glad to see that happen. And yes, Mr. Simpson's fishing trip is amazing. It is really cool. A great way to skip out and work for the day. Go fishing with my kid.
Really quick, I think it was last week were elementary school conferences. So as one of those busy elementary school parents, it was really appreciated that all the teachers at Middleton and all the other elementary schools here in the district took the time to prepare and make meeting times available for parents kind of early in the morning, late at night, whenever someone needs to meet, and we're also available to meet outside of the range. So big thanks to everybody who got everything prepared to keep parents up to date on how things are going in class. The other thing, as a busy elementary school parent, it's spring sports season, and spring sports all happen outside. So big thanks to everybody at the district who maintain all of the fields that exist across the district, help schedule all the fields across the district, help reschedule those fields when it rains and you can't play on a field for an entire week because of mud. Very appreciated.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to the middle school track team. They had their district meet today at Tualatin High School, and my daughter was running in it, and it's hot. It's a little hot for everyone. She did great. She ran the 1500. She came in sixth place. Seventh place. Did great. That was it's just a phenomenal, like very short, fast season, but it's so cool because the kids just get exposed to it and it's a fun thing to do with their friends, but they also end up finding that they like it and then maybe hopefully doing it in high school. So that was a really fun season. I should have said this last April, but it was literally happening when we were here. I wanted to give a shout out to our former athletic director, Randy Ramp, who was inducted into the Athletic Director Hall of Fame on that meeting last month. And he was here for over 20 plus years. And we are I'm very proud to, as I'm sure Katie is too. I'm very proud to have him as a mentor. One last note about the parent caregiver survey that's been going out. Tomorrow is the deadline, so if you haven't had a chance to do that, please get online. It's been linked in all the newsletters and the district top 3 in the past. And it's quick, and you can fill it out for each school, each campus that your kids attend. So make sure you get that in. It's important information. And that is it. Thank you. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move we adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Great, thank you. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. No public comment tonight? Okay, no public comment. Moving on, we're going to move to information and discussion. And first up is Brady Stretz with school tabletops update.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. Great. Hey, I'm so excited to be here to chat with you about our tabletop safety training update. Sherwood School District has this tremendous commitment to safety for our students and for our staff and community. And we had a new initiative this year to build upon what we've been working on for years and years. We've got years and years of planning and protocols from state, local, federal agencies that we've been working on and crafting and refining and drilling with our staff and our students. And something that my special guest here today, Sergeant Asla from SPD, started previously was doing tabletop exercises with our teams. And we did a few last year, and the goal this year was to get every school team through a scenario that was specific to their school this year. And we accomplished that goal. And our goal for these scenarios was to do a few things. It was to focus on key elements of our safety response protocols, which is a response, a lockdown, and an evacuation. Sergeant Asla's one of his key focuses, part of his expertise that he brings here as a longtime officer, as a former SRO, and as the lead for our SRO team, is when you're going through a safety event, the logistics matter. And those really play a role in how you respond, how you think, and the way you interact, given those constraints, shapes the situation around you. Another key part of emergency preparedness is how we partner with our first responders. When there's a hazard or an event, it's not just the school district responding, it's multiple agencies on site working together, working separately, trying to resolve the situation. And so having an expert in the field come and let us know, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's our point of view. Here's what we're going to do, whether you take action or not, helps us understand how we engage and interact with our partners who are coming in to help. We wanted to give, you can do a lot of PD with this, but we wanted to give folks a chance to practice. We have a lot of folks with a lot of great content knowledge in this area, and we wanted to give them a chance to use it. And then finally, like every good training, every good test, every good scrimmage, we wanted to dig into areas where we could grow in our plans and our prep at each site. And so that was what we set out to do. And the process all started with Sergeant Asla. And so he put together a scenario that was going to dig deeply into those moments. We brought our staff together, key staff from each site, and then gave them opportunities to make decisions. And, our goal wasn't to stress people out, but it was to give them some realistic environmental cues to make them get a chance to react, as genuinely as we could. And something that Sergeant Asla is a master in is being flexible with the scenario to respond to the choices our staff members make, to give them just that cause and effect. Okay, if I do this or this, here's how that might change the situation, and here's what I need to do next. And then finally, we took the time to reflect as a school area team, as an administrative team, and that just helped us highlight, hey, here's what we were thinking, here's what we do differently next time, here are the questions we have. And we took all of that from every site and brought it back together, and we're going to take that back out to our schools next year. And some of the key takeaways we had this year were just the desire to empower our front office staff. A lot of decisions in the school go through a rigorous process, usually involving the principal. Emergency response often does not. And so we wanted our staff to feel empowered to act when the time was right to act. The other piece that we really focused on was the communication realities. Our campuses are vast, our schools are big. We're often all in different parts of our schools. And so what does that look like when you're in a room with your walkie-talkie, with a phone, with a computer? How does that look to keep your team informed on how you're responding to a crisis? And then I think one of the other I won't read you the whole list, but just these responses take time to unfold. These situations take time to unfold. We have partners who come on site and do a really great job, and we wait for them to do their job before the incident is over. And so it was a really good opportunity to think through what that looked like. We're really excited to take what we learned through these tabletop exercises, through these reflections, and apply them to direct training with all our staff next year. It's you see the same protocols and official documents enough times, and it's hard to make them meaningful and personal to you and your school. And this process really helped us do that. And we're excited for our staff, our volunteers, our substitutes to get this feedback and the key learnings from this, and just help make our buildings even safer next year. And then next year, Sergeant Asa will put us through a new round of training, a new round of scenarios, and we'll grow again. Thank you.
I'll say a couple things.
Yeah, great.
That's all right.
Yes.
I had a very positive experience with doing these. I had done them previously when I was a SRO, but really what came out of my experience, looking at it from like a police perspective, is that this is a very fiscally responsible way to train out staff, but also share information between the school district and first responders. And there's not a lot of fiscally responsible ways to do that. Oftentimes, it's a lot of resources, a lot of people, a lot of cost in order to do that. And this is really great. And what has also come out of this is I just put in a bid to present at our state school resource officer and school safety summit that happens in Seaside over the summer, and discuss this process, what we're kind of spearheading here, and kind of present that as a train the trainer for other school districts to also use it. Because I found that in talking with other district leaders and other law enforcement, especially within the realm of SROs, the biggest obstacle is trying to plan something like this where you can take people through a mental visualization kind of exercise in which they still get all of the benefits of walking through the entire emergency process and how we're going to handle it, how we're going to make students and staff safer. But it's really difficult to do that on a large scale with 300 some odd people that are all trying to do different jobs. And so this is a great way to make this happen. So I'm looking forward to continuing it next year and working on different types of problems, because this has also been, this particular year, the emergency that we developed, that we went through, is not your typical emergency. It's something that could happen very easily, but it's not the things that people think about because they think about what's in the news. It's a different scenario that opens up doors so that people begin to learn a little bit more about their site. Sometimes we learned a few things about some of the schools when it came to our HVAC system, and some of those types of things because of this scenario that we built. And all of that was very, very positive in getting people to, or a little bit of education on how to respond more efficiently. So happy to do it, be a part of it.
Just wanted to say thank you for coming out here, and thank you to SPD for partnering with the district. It's a cliche that you don't plan to fail, but you fail to plan, and having everybody together on site working together, not only does that make a situation real rather than just something that's printed off and put in a binder somewhere, it also helps us to build relationships and to know, who's on the other end of the phone or the walkie-talkie when something like this happens. So very appreciated for taking the time to work with us on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just second that. I think it brings a sense of comfort for every parent knowing that at least these, one-off scenarios or something are at least being thought about or talked about, and how to work through them. And even if there's like a deviation from it, it kind of might match this thing we just talked about. And it really makes, I think, staff members become more cognizant of their surroundings and the students and the people that are in students' lives, and who looks like they should be in a place, or it just makes all the senses, fire on all cylinders. And I really appreciate, I mean, I don't think there's any parent that doesn't appreciate that this is happening in this district. Like the peace and comfort of knowing that we're working through some tough scenarios and conversations is, I think, I think I'm grateful. I know I'm grateful for it, but I know everyone else is too. So thank you so much.
And I just want to say thank you for coming tonight, Sergeant Isla and Brady. I would say that your leadership through this has been instrumental, helping us think through, pre-plan, converse, learn from the previous one. What are we walking into with this next one? And I'm excited about the next iteration because you're actually just helping us get better here. But what I appreciate, and I mentioned to you before, is you are highly skilled at facilitation. And you do so in a way where it doesn't make us feel like we're educators. And we do not have the same training you do. We need your training and expertise, but you do that in a way that invites us in instead of putting up a block to make me feel like, I didn't know that. Did you know that? That's not how you do it. And so to Brady's point, you take a scenario and I have a response that you're like, you went the wrong way. You do it in a way and correct it and get me back on track and get the conversation back in a really masterful way. And I just am appreciative of your leadership with our SROs as well. It's demonstrated in that because they do the same thing. We have 2 phenomenal SROs. And guess what? They do exactly as you help model. So thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to 2025-26 athletics and activities update with Marlene Carroll, Katie Hartman, and Adam Mitchell. What did I miss?
All right. I'm just going to kick us off where this is the first time we've done this presentation. And tonight we're going to talk about our OSAA athletics and activities. And so those are all the athletics and activities that are essentially sponsored through OSAA. And Adam Mitchell, our principal, and Katie Hartman, our athletic director, are going to do the bulk of this presentation. So I am going to start with Katie.
That's that one. This one. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us all here. Okay. The first slide, that is a lot of words and a lot of reading, and I am not going to read it aloud to y'all. But what those are the grounding principles that we use to help our athletes thrive and become the best version of themselves as they are involved in athletics and activities at the high school. So program highlights. We are in the Pacific Conference. We are 6A. So far this year, we've had 8 league champions. We are on track to have 2 to 4 in the spring, so that's good. State placers, the ones in italics are softball and dance. They were first place last year in state, so we did want to mention them. And this year, those are all of our state placers so far. 5th place for our boys cross country. Girls cross country got 4th. Dance, once again, got 1st and 2nd. Cheer got 4th. We had a para swimmer get 1st. Boys basketball 4th, girls basketball 6th. As Paige mentioned, we had a euphonium player get 1st, oboe 2nd, snare 4th, trumpet 4th, tuba 3rd. All of those athletes and activities members did an amazing job so far this year, and hopefully we have more. Athletic participation, we have a total of 1,125 roster spots. That's all year this year that there have been that many athletes participating. If you see in the pictures up there, that's a collage of our girls soccer program. The boys, that is our boys volleyball team. This is their first year as an OSAA sanctioned sport. They are doing exceptionally well. We pulled out our old girls volleyball coach from retirement, and she is leading the charge and doing a wonderful job. That bottom picture is our senior baseball player and softball players. They had a senior game, baseball versus softball. It was wonderful. The baseball team, I think, won by 2 runs. But they had a lot of fun. They chose a Sunday to do it and they had a great time. Activities participation, there were a total of 131 participants. Those are pictures of our band and our choir, and then our speech and debate, part of our speech and debate team. There's about 10 members of the speech and debate team, but those are the 4 members that were on a placing team. And again, for those of you, as Paige listed, there are so many members that do amazing, wonderful things. As Dr. Downs mentioned, he heard our jazz group. And if you have not been to one of our musical performances, I highly suggest you go because they do such a great job. OSA participation compared to enrollment. So as I mentioned, we have those many roster spots and those many activity spots. That's 54% male, 46% female. And our school enrollment is 1602. And it balances out really well that the percentage of males versus the percentage of females that go to our school are actively engaged in our athletics and activities. So that's pretty cool. And just those pictures, girls tennis team, our tennis districts are coming up this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Please keep your fingers crossed the rain holds off. Wasn't supposed to be here, but it's going to be, it looks like. That's our basketball team down there at the Child Center. They had an awesome run, and that is just a collage of our football team. If you have not been to a football game in Sherwood, I highly suggest you go. There's something for everybody there. If you want to watch a football game, if you want to eat some good food from the food trucks, Kona Ice sometimes comes. Your younger kids, if they're not into football, can run around. It's fun for everyone, fun for the whole family.
All right. One of our guiding principles is principles probably isn't the right word, but I think it does go well because our feeling is we want to provide something for everybody and we want to provide a well-rounded and fair program for kids. And it aligns very nicely with Title IX. As you can see up there, there's a 3-pronged test that you have to meet in Title IX. And the 3 things down there at the bottom, and they all ensure what Katie was talking about, that are essentially the opportunities line up with our population, as well as intentionally provide opportunities for the underrepresented sex, which is usually women. We are very proud that in Sherwood, we meet all 3 of those, even though in order to quote unquote pass, you only have to meet 1, but we meet all 3 of those. And so that's been a source of pride for us. One of the things you saw in there was to continue to grow areas and opportunities for women. And so over the past few years, we have accomplished these things, a sharp increase in girls wrestling, the addition and then the increase in it. Girls flag football, this year we're operating with 2 teams. Tennis is up to 3 teams, and girls volleyball has recently added a 4th team. And so it's quite a bit of participation increase. In Sherwood, we provide 3 coaches for every sport. Typically, that looks like a varsity coach, a JV coach, and then a JV2 or freshman coach. It can look a little bit different at different sports depending on how they want to use that. But as you can see, the numbers up there for district paid, we also have, if again, as Katie said, if you go to a football game, you'll see an incredible amount of people on that sideline, not just on the football field, but also when you look at the cheer team and the dance team, there's a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of people that help out. Some are paid, some are not. Anything outside of the up to 3 coaches is paid through fundraising. We're very fortunate in Sherwood to have quite a bit of fundraising, quite a bit of support financially from our community. In addition to that, OSA has some guidelines on football and track, which are safety supervisors. And so for every 20 kids, I believe, somewhere 20, 25 kids, we have a safety supervisor, and we pay them a per week rate to perform that duty. It's typically one of our coaches that also pays close attention to safety and meets different standards that OSA sets forward. let's see. When Katie talked about the roster spots, these are the male roster spots. You can see it's a mix of how we want to set it up, how many spots are available. For example, in soccer or basketball, we determine that there's 4 teams and there's X number of roster spots. It's not a static number all the time. Sometimes there's, in basketball at least, there's typically 11 to 13 on a team. In other sports, there's how many kids come out. For example, you look at track and football, those are incredibly large numbers because that's who comes out. Those are no-cut sports. We also treat lacrosse through a previous board direction. We treat lacrosse the same as an OSA activity, just like all our other sports. And so that is district paid coaches and transportation and all of those kind of things. So they're included in our roster spots as well. These are your female roster spots. Again, some of those are predetermined and some of those are no-cut sports. And so you can see there's quite a few of those. The big difference here is girls flag football is an emerging sport this year, has been for a couple years. And so that is a sport that is gaining traction. It has not quite got to the place of being a full OSA sport, but it will be soon. And as Katie said, I encourage you to come out and watch your favorite sports, your favorite activities, as well as some of those up there that you may not have seen, especially our new ones. They're really cool. And now over to Marlene. Thank you.
All right. So maybe not the most exciting topic, but the program costs. So we spend over $1 million to really run our OSAA activities. And that includes in that number, coaches and advisors, transportation, things like that. And we also have to try to offset those costs. And so we do have athletic fees that we charge students. And then as well, we offset those fees by providing waivers. So I'm just going to walk you through these. First, it's important to note that our deficit doesn't include things like our athletic director, our stipends, our staffing to run our arts programs, right? Because those are classes that happen all day long for some of those band and choir programs. So what we're looking at costs is what we calculate easily, and then what we're looking for athletic fees and waivers is a little bit different. So you can see that we charge about $275 per sport and $200 per activity, give or take, depending on what sport you do. And then we have a cap here in Sherwood to support families, so and individual students. So you never go over spending $675, and as a family, $1,375. And this year, we had 23 individual students hit the individual cap, and we only had one family hit the individual cap. So so 23 of our students really benefited from having that cap. In addition, we have some waivers that we include for free and reduced lunch and things like that. Those students get waived fees. We see about well, you can see the number 134. And then that cost to the district was nearly $20,000. And so if you take the $1 million and with all the waivers and the caps, we see a deficit around $692,000. And that kind of supports that. The athletic program from the general fund, in addition to things like we hire an athletic director and we hire staff for our high school programs and middle school programs to build our high school programs. And so we really value our athletics and activities programs, and we do that by investing in them pretty significantly. And now Katie and Adam can come back up and we can answer some questions.
One, not so much a question, but I wonder if we want to start using the language of a general fund subsidy rather than a deficit for athletics, because I would hope that nobody hears it this, but somebody could hear a deficit and think that that was unintended, or that that might be something that we're trying to close over time, when really this is just the amount of money that the district is contributing to make sure that we have awesome athletics and activities options, and that those are affordable for students around the district. So that's just kind of a comment that if anybody hears that as, oh, we're looking to make, it's not a deficit that we're looking to close, that's what we're supporting.
I think an easy way to say that is that the fees we charge just don't cover the cost to run the program, and that goes for every athletic department ever. So the district does subsidize, just like nutrition services. Those are the two notorious accounts that get subsidized. But I totally agree that deficit seems like an ugly word, but subsidizing sounds much prettier. But I agree. Thank you for this. I have been really looking forward to this for about 4 years. Only because I think it's important to the community to see how big athletics is. It's not just in Sherwood, but everywhere, and to the tune of $1 million to run it. And it pays for itself in terms of community involvement and community spirit and school spirit and all the things that we want for our kids to have those experiences. It's character building. It's all of the things that we want our children to learn. But it doesn't just happen, and it doesn't happen in a vacuum, and there's real cost and dollars that go towards it. And I'm really happy to see that it is also now tied to the strategic plan, and that we do have a way to look at this yearly and tie it back to the strategic plan, and that this is kind of just a jumping off point of like, okay, we're all seeing it now, and we can, maybe there's a few things that we're like, oh, I didn't really realize that. Maybe we can make some changes, or we can tweak something here, or we can think about things in a different way. In terms of just all the fees we see, or how that's really affecting, and it's on paper. So I really appreciate this. It's easy to get lost in the minutia of day to day, because it's just go, go, go. It's just all the time. And this is the worst time of year, and I'm really sorry that it happened in May. It's just it's a lot right now, and I get it. But I think this is really important. It's just another lens on a piece of the district that people just assume happens, like poof, look at all this magical thing that happens, but there's a lot that goes into it. And to know that even your department is in charge of 174 people and managing those people essentially, and being responsible, I don't think a lot of people know that every volunteer that you let in the door has to be vetted, has to go through a process. Every hired coach goes through a process with HR. I mean, these things don't just happen. Hiring staff for athletics is not easy. I would say that a lot of that job is HR when you have a lot of turnover. And so it's rough. But thank you again. This is great. I think this is a great, great start to just getting a great lens on it.
Thank you.
And Katie and Adam, thanks for presenting, but most importantly, thanks for the leadership. Katie, I know as you navigate and steward these activities at athletics, and Adam as well, for you guys, I know, are just representing the many people that actually help put this together. I've just appreciated watching your proactive approach to getting kids excited about these things. We know for a lot of kids, maybe the speech and debate's about the only thing that really gets them going for school right now. And that's okay. let's honor that. Let's get them doing that. Maybe the flag football is a brand new thing that gets a kid saying, I'll try something didn't think about that before. And so just being open to that, but I've personally watched you both recruit kids, help mentor coaches, help mentor advisors. And a big thank you to our coaches and advisors, volunteer or not, they are pouring into our kids and giving them an opportunity and experience. And so thanks for putting this down on paper so we can kind of visualize it. But it's making a difference for Sherwood community.
Yeah, and when you say recruit kids, I just want it on the record. That's our kids.
I mean,
nobody else
I think
don't do that.
Principal Mitchell, that's an excellent point. What I mean is I've seen you recruit our own kids in the hallway to say, Harmony, you should come out for flag football. They're already our students, Principal Mitchell.
I just wanted to say one comment. I was like Henry too. Like I wanted to see this because I think one comment, then one question. But if you look at the proportions of number of young students participating, it's enormous. It is truly, there's something for everyone at that school to do in activities and athletics that you don't see very often in other schools where it takes a different shape and form. We always love athletics. I didn't want to slight the activities because that confused me a little bit because there's also some one-offs and activities. So, for example, where is marching band an activity? Is not.
OSAA activity.
Yeah. This is only related.
OSAA tells you what things are there.
These are
okay.
What you saw tonight was the events that culminate in championships or some sort of competition through OSAA.
Okay,
so you're correct. The marching band competitions are massive. There's a lot of other things that go on, tons of wonderful things. This was limited to ones that compete under the OSAA umbrella. Yeah. Yeah. And I would add to what you said earlier about having stuff for everybody. We have, you look at those numbers and they're phenomenal. And you still think about the number of kids who didn't make the basketball team or didn't make the soccer team or didn't make the softball team. And then our coaches work really hard to then provide those kids with an opportunity, whether it be another OSAA sport or it be another activity, or as you're talking about things that aren't under the OSAA umbrella. So it is a source of pride for us to have something for everybody, even if it maybe isn't the first thing that they wanted. We're able to provide them with something else that they can attach themselves to. And as Dr. Downs said, it might be what gets them to school that day. And that's phenomenal. So
that was a really great clarifying question. I do think maybe for next year when we do this, like having one more expansion of what we talk about to maybe grab some of the other activities or ways students are involved. Just to make it clear that everybody's part of this, and then hopefully we can push that ratio as close to 100% as we can, and just show everybody all the different ways that students are involved around the district.
I think it's hard because you're being asked to report on OSAA sports just because we're a member of the OSAA, and that was great. But also to your point, there's so many clubs and other teams that kids do, but can you imagine like how much of that over 1125 of kids are doing the mountain biking team and skiing and snowboarding and all the other clubs that run along? And yeah, I agree. There's tons of other activities and clubs that these kids are participating in, and I think that I hope it's touching every kid in the high school in some capacity. Yeah. And flag football will be an OSAA championship by next year. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
All right, we're going to move on to secondary social science instruction materials first read.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for having us. So our secondary social science group committees have been hard at work for almost 2 years now. So it's a variety of reviewing legislation and new standards, looking at different ways to teach the materials that are recommended from the Oregon Department of Education, and then coming together as a team, trying materials and building consensus for that. And so tonight, the team is going to share their work with you in the process, as well as kind of what they discussed and what their students were able to produce. And we have a great video to share with you. But I'm going to start by introducing Andy Byerly. So Andy Byerly, if you don't know him, he is our new secondary teaching and learning TOSA. And I believe this is his first board presentation here in Sherwood. Is that right? Okay. So he's up next. Oh, no.
No, that's the one we
That's
want.
it.
Yep.
There you go.
All right. Well, good evening, board members, Dr. Downs, directors. Yeah, as Marlene said, my name's Andy Byerly. I'm the secondary teaching and learning TOSA by day. By night, I'm a school board member in Newburgh, Dundee, just down the road. So thank you for your service and the work that you all do. You can come to the Newburgh board meeting tomorrow night. So we are recommending, in a first read to you all, we are recommending some instructional materials be adopted for grade 6. And we'll talk about each of these as well as our process a little bit. In grade 6, we're recommending the TCI, or the Teachers Curriculum Institute History Alive program. In 7th and 8th grade, the McGraw-Hill Middle School Social Studies program. Our high school U.S. history team, which most juniors take U.S. history, we're recommending TCI again, History Alive, Pursuing American Ideals. And then for AP Human Geography, the Cengage National Geographic Learning textbook and program. So our goal tonight is to walk you through that process a little bit, give you some highlights. And I want to offer a metaphor as we get started here. You all have undoubtedly sat through a number of instructional materials adoption presentations over the years. And it's a little bit like opening your pantry and your fridge in the kitchen at home. So we want to make the best meals possible for our students. We want to use materials that help them come alive. We also want them to be nutritious, right? And so it's a loose metaphor, but it's a little bit like giving our teachers the ingredients that they need and the cookbooks that they need to create these meals for our students. And I want to say that normally the work we do is about centering our students, and we're doing that here. But every once in a while, it's okay to center our teachers in the work that we're doing as well. And so you're going to hear from Amy and Aaron here in a bit about their experience piloting these and about our presentation. But this is really with our teachers in mind tonight. Okay. The vision that has guided our work, students will become informed, empathetic, and global citizens who think critically about the past and present, using multiple perspectives by acting as historians who read, write, listen, and research in order to access, analyze, and share their thinking. Every time I read that out loud, I realize it needs a period, maybe a couple of them. But what I would like you to see in this vision that has guided our work is social science in Sherwood is more than just about historical events, timelines, and people. This is about cultivating people who are civically minded. We are trying to teach our students and give them opportunities to understand what empathy is and what that looks like over time. We're also trying to do things that deeply connect with our literacy work. And so you'll see read, write, listen, research in that vision as well. And we've got some pictures and videos to show you tonight. So my role is going to walk you through the process that we set up, and then I'll turn it over to our teachers to talk about their experience piloting. This was the timeline that guided our work. So we actually started this work last spring. I was not here for that, but Marlene and Sarah led a meeting where we looked at the ODE standards for social science. They were adopted by the state board in 2024. In October, we launched our work this year to determine which of those are essential. And what we mean by that, all standards are essential in some regard, and that we teach them all. Essential standards are the ones that really bubble up to the top. We prioritize them. They're enduring. They last a long time. They cut across multiple content areas, those kinds of things. I went up to Portland and joined several others regionally for an instructional materials caravan where we got to see all the different programs that were offered. And then we got to work. We selected the materials we wanted to pilot. We did our pilot this winter. We hosted a community night in March, and here we are with you all. A little bit about the standards. First of all, in 6th and 7th grades, we teach world history. So from ancient civilizations all the way up through 1900. 8th grade is really the second year where US history is a focus, and that goes from the American Revolution up through the Civil War. And then high school US history picks up there from the Civil War up through present day. And in those content divisions, we have 4 domains of social science standards. So what I'd like you to notice, first of all, is there's no domain that says US history, right? These are domains that are cutting across different civilizations, different cultures, different even different branches of social science. And so civics, geography, economics, and history are the focus of our standards now. That leaves us some flexibility, and we'll talk about some of the flexibility here in just a minute. These standards also include some other results of other legislation. And so I'm going to start at the bottom here. Senate Bill 3 is leading to some new courses at the high school next year. That took from some of the standards in social science, particularly around economics, that were more personal, like located in the individual. And we're going to be teaching that course, more of that course next year. Tribal history, shared history really changes the way that we approach the way we teach with our tribal, with our tribes in Oregon and our tribal colleagues in mind. It pulls in a lot of history from time immemorial, but more than anything, it's not designed to teach history of old. It's designed to help students see that we have a very live and vibrant tribal experience in Oregon right now. These are sovereign nations that exist within the borders of our state. We have some more robust civic standards that are embedded within the social science standards. We're required to teach the Holocaust and other genocides in different cultures. Those are embedded in our standards. And we have an opportunity to embed Oregon's transformational social emotional learning standards. One example of that is that word empathy that we saw in our vision statement. Another thing that I love, and we're not going to read these, I put them here more for your reference, but in Oregon now, standards themselves are far more than just content. Used to be that standards were just like, teach this, teach this, teach this topic, concept, topic, concept. Embedded within our standards, though, are practices that get our students thinking and reasoning like social scientists. And so I want to highlight just a couple of these. One of them is seek and analyze diverse perspectives. One of the things we were looking for in any of the programs are representation, not just of diversity that would allow our students to see themselves in what we're teaching, but perspectives that may not exist within our community. Here's the second part of that list. Nope. Oh, yep, there it is. Nope. I broke it. There it goes. Okay. And the one on this screen that I'd like to draw your attention to is the one about the skills needed to critically analyze and evaluate digital and social media content. One thing that I love about our social science standards is that they're really they're a modern set of standards in that regard, right? So much of us intake our information online through social media, and we're teaching our students how to vet that. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to one of our 7th grade team members, Aaron Cupp.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaron Cupp, and I'm here to talk about this slide and a couple of more. Thank you for having us today. So, all social studies should be based on inquiry-based approach. I mean, we should be asking questions, and we should be navigating these questions through a variety of different different resources to come to a intelligent and reference-based answer. With that, also, as Andy was talking about flexibility with the program, they give us the flexibility of like a chronological approach or a thematic approach. Previously, we've been doing in the middle school, we've divided into hemispheres. So 6th grade was one hemisphere, 7th grade was another. But we very much appreciate this new ideology of like a chronological approach with adding themes as well. So you can do the obvious compare and contrast across civilizations, which is always great. So we can identify these themes in different eras and make our connections. And as it says, we chose chronological approach, and we're sticking to it. And then I will go take, oh, yep. Navigate, please. My clicker's less complex.
Honestly, I just pushed buttons and it went to the next slide. There's no like next slide button. Okay. And you likely saw this from my colleague Jenny for the elementary adoption as well, but we used the same K-12 rubric. And it asked our teachers to evaluate their experience of both programs that we piloted across 7 different. You can see those there. So we spent quite a bit of time really, eliciting that evidence from the pilot to make our decision. And I was really proud of our teachers for doing that deep work. Okay, we ended up piloting, in 6th and 7th grade, we ended up piloting TCI and McGraw-Hill. And in 6th grade, we're recommending for adoption TCI's program. The thing that I really want to say loud and clear is it is developmentally spot on for our 6th graders. The text is complex but short. There's a number of accessibility tools built in that really give our students access to do that deep reading. The activities that are embedded are very active and get our students up and moving and interacting with each other, and in many cases, like experiencing the history that they're learning about. So TCI also continues our elementary adoption. We recommended in grades 3 through 5 TCI, so that provides a point of continuity for our 6th graders making that transition. In 7th grade and 8th grade, Amy will talk a little bit more in just a minute about her experience piloting McGraw-Hill. In 7th and 8th grade, the texts get a little bit longer, a little bit more complex. Our teachers feel good about having our students rise to that. Also, the inquiry activities that are embedded here were amazing, and I'm not going to steal any of Amy's thunder on that. At the high school, one of the most commonly used AP textbooks is this one from Cengage, AP Human Geography. Many of the districts around us also use this program. And so our high school teacher, Devin O'Neill, was able to start that pilot before she left on family leave. I also want to mention that at the high school, TCI as well, I had it on the previous slide, works in very much the same way. It's very active. It gets our students up and moving and engaging with history in a way that maybe they haven't before. Okay. Here's some highlights from our 6th grade team. They piloted an ancient Egypt unit, and I love these pictures. You can see a little bit of how our students are coming to life here, looking at topics from ancient Egypt.
developmentally appropriate.
Very much so. Very much so. All right. And then
I'll take over, but I'll let you do the next slide.
Yeah.
Again. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I'm Amy Christie. Thank you for having us. And then I just want to say that these are some activities that we did when we were piloting the TCI textbook. So, and it is very developmentally appropriate, lots of hands-on activities that we were able to incorporate into the classroom. So I had students, they were practicing Japanese kanji, just doing wonderful. And then we had performing a very elaborate Japanese tea ceremony as part of learning about the culture of Japan. And so that was for our TCI, but we chose to go with McGraw-Hill, which we'll talk about in the next slide over here. So
press the white dot.
the white dot. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna now we go back. Where's the reverse? Which one? The white dot that it has in the way. Okay, but I need to go back now.
Yeah, that one, I think. There you go.
Okay, and the white dot.
There.
Okay. All right.
Now that you're all seasick.
So one of the things that we really enjoyed about McGraw-Hill was the outside of the box activities. One of the things was it was about economics, but it was about specifically scarcity. So one of the things they did was make an app that provides a service to alleviate the scarcity. So they were doing things, written description, they were comparing competitors' price of similar app. Then they did how they were unique from the competitors themselves to kind of give them an edge if they were ever to be real. They're doing wireframe mock-ups. They were doing the app the interface with the mock-ups. They're doing logo, slogan, and a marketing plan. And they really this was one of the most fun units I've ever done with economics because it can be a slog. So this was super fun. Creativity that we saw was just amazing, and Ms. Christie is going to talk about specifically one of that happened in her class. That was just so fun.
Yeah, so this is what when we were talking about is that it provided us some additional opportunities to go more in depth. And this was a group project for the first time in all my years of teaching where it was an authentic group project where the kids would come in, they would get in their groups without me asking, and they would get out their stuff and begin working without any prompting and get to work. They would start designing their logo and they would work the whole period, and they were so excited to come up with their idea and their project. And then the end result, the ideas that they came up with were like Family Fork, which was they were looking for restaurants in the Sherwood area that were family owned and not food chains to help support that. There was Genius, which was a styling app to help you like support your style. There was Find Your Aesthetic to help you again dress yourself for your right occasion. All these just wildly creative ideas, and this one was Elder Ease to help elderly people find a caregiver for services because services are just not as convenient anymore for elderly people. And just the kids were just so excited to find a niche and find some scarcity in the Sherwood market and then fill that gap with their ideas. And so it was wonderful to see that. And one of the things that when we were talking with Andy was it's just everybody was invigorated. The kids were excited. We were excited. The kids were working for an entire week. And then these final projects we had, I was able to use them at parent conferences. So you were just talking about had parent conferences the other weekend, and the kids were able to show their parents, this is what we did, turn to a page, explain the whole thing. And I just got to sit back and just say, yeah, these are what your kids are doing in school. And it was amazing. So that's the kind of curriculum that we want to have in the classroom. So I'm so on board.
Woohoo.
Yay.
This is an example. I wanted to give a plug to our 8th grade team for a couple of things. They jumped into a particular kind of question that really requires students to do a lot of writing that is going to help prepare them for the high school. And so I'm not going to read this, but it's in the presentation if you want to get an example of some of the thinking of our 8th graders, particularly around U.S. history. And then Sally Collins, one of our 8th grade teachers actually had the genius idea of asking her students, like what they might like between the two that they piloted. And I was able to join her in one period, and her students really knew. They could really tell me what they loved about it, about McGraw-Hill, what they loved about the National Geographic book, what made the McGraw-Hill book more usable to them. And so she set that up in a Google form, and we included that here. I thought that was a really, so often, right, we approach this with teachers in mind, and students have a lot to say, it turns out. All right, we have one short video. Do we still have time for video? Okay, this is coming from Morgan Hubbard's class, one of our high school US history teachers.
Good evening, America. This is Channel 7 News reporting on the war effort and growing call for equality at home. Today we are discussing the Double V campaign, a movement fighting for victory against enemies overseas and injustice here in the United States. First, we are joined by two brave pilots from the Tuskegee Airmen.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve.
Can you tell us what it's
No worries. I know that the volume's going to come through pretty low
like
too.
fighting in war as an
While you're getting this TV, the question that students were asked is, what's the American home front experience like during World War II? And so this group did an interview project where they kind of tried to tell that story in a pretty clever way. Okay.
Good evening, America. This is Channel 7 News reporting on the war effort and growing call for equality at home. Today we are discussing the Double V campaign, a movement fighting for victory against enemies overseas and injustice here in the United States. First, we are joined by two brave pilots from the Tuskegee Airmen.
It is. It might just be super low. The volume might be really low.
Can you tell us what it's
There we go.
Good evening, America. This is Channel 7 News reporting on the war effort and growing call for equality at home. Today we are discussing the Double V campaign, a movement fighting for victory against enemies overseas and injustice here in the United States. First, we are joined by two brave pilots from the Tuskegee Airmen.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve.
Can you tell us what it's like fighting in the war as an African American pilot?
Well, we're proud to fight for our country. We fly missions, protect bombers, and prove that we are just as capable as anyone else. But at the same time, we're still
That's
facing
all right. We've included the link in your presentation, so you all can watch that. Proud of the teachers for diving in. One other activity that they did was around the Red Scare, called the Red Dot activity. Students had maybe 10 students out of the 30 would get a red dot, and everyone else would get a black dot. And it was a way of simulating kind of the communists and the way that the fear, I guess, that kind of gripped America back in the Cold War. So students were really engaged in that. It was really good. So one final note about the process at the middle school. In 6th and 7th grade, it looks a little bit weird to adopt two different programs across 6th and 7th grade when both of those are world history. So I thought you might ask that question. When we tallied up all of our rubrics, it was a tie between TCI and McGraw-Hill. And so we talked a lot about how do we break the tie. It made sense from teaching and learning's perspective to keep those two bundled because 6th and 7th are both world history. Where one book leaves off and the other one picks up is kind of determined by the publisher, right? It feels a little bit weird. But as we heard from our teachers about the kinds of experiences that they were able to create for their students, it really became clear that we want them to be excited about what they're teaching. We want them to help create those experiences that their students will always remember. And the two programs actually split in a way that we can work with pretty well. So we had, if we had adopted TCI in 6th and 7th grade, 8th grade would have been a standalone year for McGraw-Hill. So one advantage of doing this is we have 2 years of McGraw-Hill and we have the continuity with TCI. So we feel really good about this. We can support this. We can coordinate our professional learning there pretty well. So where will our community have opportunities to learn more? We'll have some links online on our teaching and learning webpage. We've already sent out some preview links and hosted a night here, but we'll do that again before the end of the year at both the middle school and the high school. And any feedback that we get, we'll bring to you in June. So, anything else to add? Okay. Any questions that you all have? And I want to just say again, I'm super grateful for our teams. Our teaching teams at the middle school and the high school did really, really good work. And I'm grateful to have gotten to be a part of it. So we're happy to field any questions you have.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions. Just so first I'll just say, like, having my son in the middle school, we've had a lot of good conversations around what's been going on social studies. So I think obviously something good is happening, and he's excited to talk about it. So awesome, thank you. I should know answer to this question, and I'm sorry, Marlene, I didn't ask you ahead of time. So on the standards, I know we have obviously Common Core for language arts, math, and new generation science standards. Social studies, is that a state by state thing? Is that like just Oregon? So that's only Oregon. So if a student comes from Washington from 6th grade, they may not have done world history. It may be something totally different. What does that look like?
You want to go for it?
Well, if they're coming from Washington, it's actually very similar because they use the C3, just like Oregon, to guide their standards work. It might be a little bit different, but generally very, very similar. Yeah.
But it's not like Common Core where it's most of the states. Okay. I wasn't quite sure about that. Okay.
I will say, most of these bigger curriculum companies, they're designing curriculum not for the state of Oregon, and they're designing it for California and Texas. And so how that works is California, everybody goes the way that those two states go because that's what's out there and available. That's what's high engagement, high quality instructional materials. So there isn't a set Common Core social science standards, but it is generally we see a lot of the same information. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm glad to see that we're taking a chronological approach to history. Like, I appreciate thematic analysis of history, but to do that, you really need to know the chronology, and much of the themes depend on understanding what came before and came after. So thank you to everybody for doing that really important work.
On that note, that actually eliminated some of the programs we could pilot because some were set up still with like Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere. And so that was a really important decision that our team invested a lot of time in early on. That actually helped us narrow the field. Yep.
Thank you guys so much. I just love anytime a kid can get excited about anything. So seeing curriculum, especially when a teacher asks a kid, what do you like better? That's always really helpful and nice. And they get input and then they feel like they have some ownership in it too. And that might feel really empowering to them to want to learn more. So I like it. I love that everyone's excited about it. And if the kids are excited, then we're headed in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our local wellness policy update first read with Marlene.
All right. So we don't generally bring one-off
policy adjustments or revisions, but we've been working on our local wellness plan for a couple of years now. And through this work, we noticed that when we originally adopted this policy, we adopted everything. And so even the optional language we adopted, which makes the policy very robust, but it also makes it really challenging for our principals and our nutrition services director and our teaching and learning department to implement it. And so we met with our wellness committee, which Director Hawkins is a part of, and we kind of went through this policy and what we can do well and what we can implement well. And we took out some of the optional language. So although we have to have a local wellness plan, this removes much of the optional language from our current one. And so tonight we're just bringing it to you all for first read and review. Any questions?
No. 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 Maybe later. Yeah. Okay, if there are no questions, we'll move on to our action items. We have our elementary social science instructional materials second read.
All right, so we shared the board presentation with you all last month around the social science instructional materials. Just so you know, we did not receive any community feedback on our survey or at our instructional materials review night. And so I have nothing to report on that area, but I ask for that our proposed materials get adopted.
Is there a motion?
I move we adopt the proposed elementary social science instructional materials as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next, elementary health instructional materials second read.
I move we adopt the proposed elementary health instructional materials as presented.
Wonderful. Is there a second?
I second.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The next meeting of the board will be on June 1st. Small change, we will start at 5 p.m. that night due to some graduation type activities that we need to be able to get to. So just